Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Mary Pitts, with Winning Wednesday and Ms. Aishah Hunter. And so we're so blessed to be with you today. And we just have been enjoying this time coming together, sharing with you on Winning Wednesday. Just been blessed by all of our guests. And so we just want to share today and just appreciate each and every one of you that have been coming on, and all of our guests that we had, tremendous topics and conversation. And it's so important that when women can get together and just support each other, love on each other, and just encourage each other. So we just thank you so much for joining us for Business Women Inspirational Network Winning Wednesday. And remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. And so we're going to dive right into our topic today, and we're going to be talking about sisterhood. But first, I want to just give space for Aishah just to go ahead and to share today. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know you've been seeing her, and we're just so thankful for you, Aishah, for being a part of our team, being a part of our sisterhood, and being our membership director, and all of the wealth of knowledge and wisdom and support that you bring to the organization.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Pastor Mary. I'm truly grateful for you and for your vision. And I just thank God for you always honoring the call in your life, always listening to the Lord. And I think it is such a privilege and honor to be in the midst of women like yourself. And so when I think about Business Women Inspirational Network, what I appreciate is that it's not just another membership organization. It's not just another sisterhood, but it's truly led by you, Pastor Mary, who walks through action, and you really show what it means to build relationships that are meaningful. And I just think that that is so important, and something that oftentimes you might hear people talk about sisterhood, and that's one thing to talk about it, but it's another to show women how to live into it and to invite them to be a part of relationships that can truly be life-changing. And so to you, I honor you and give you thanks for walking the talk, which is the most important thing that you have in a leader. And so I was very honored when you asked me to be your membership director. And so my name's Aishah Hunter. I am just recently joined in this role with BWin, but one of the things that most excites me about this organization is that our business is God's business. And so as a businesswoman, I believe in the power of making sure that you don't separate God from the work that you do, but He has given you whatever it is that you have been called to do His work. And so I just think there's so much power and potential when we really understand and really take the time to think about how we think about work, how we think about doing God's work. And so that mission alone of encouragement and sisterhood and being about God's business, I just think is so important, because there are lots of places and groups that are talking about getting together and doing work, and they network and they do all of that. But the one thing that I don't see a lot of is people talking about doing God's work and equipping yourself spiritually to be prepared for that. And so that's what this space is about. And that's what makes me excited. So thank you for having me tonight.
Yes, awesome. And that is so true, because we talk about being authentic and being our true self. And, the question is, who am I? And so in defining who you are, we have to understand understand that we are spirit, and often say that how can you take a God idea and exclude God? And
Mm,
so it's just how to incorporate him and make him a part of our lives. He is our life, actually, and just not just him in certain spaces, but he is present in every aspect of our lives. And that when we begin to do that and be comfortable with that and make that our norm, and so
absolutely.
then we will see a great manifestation. We will see certain things that happen in our life that we've been trying to do by the sweat of our brow. And so,
Mm,
but anyway, we just appreciate you so much and just thank you for being a part of this platform, this organization, and all the wealth of knowledge and wisdom and just everything that you bring, the tools that you bring. And so the thing about it, I feel, is that I am better. And I feel like we're better because of who we're connected to. And
absolutely.
so today we want to dive in and talk about sisterhood. And you hear that
Yeah.
word often, sisterhood, and so a lot of times we don't get to understand it because what someone else or what you define as sisterhood could be something different from what I define as sisterhood. And so therefore our expectations are different when we go into relationships with our sisters. And so because of the expectation is different, then we tend to get disappointed or let down, or we feel like that particular sister, we're not gaining the support that we're giving. And so sometimes the support that you give is not the same type of support you get in return. And there are so many dynamics of support that we have to be very careful. We just set on one way, then we'll feel that we're not getting the support that we need. And so, or we desire, we're expecting from our sister. But as I was stating, one definition, I was just saying that sisterhood means loving, accepting someone where they are, but consistently inspiring them to their highest potential and God's will for their life. And so, accepting each other where they are, but at the same time, realizing you're not going to stay where you are because we're constantly evolving, emerging into this beautiful and blossoming every day. And so, and I know that our relationships, it starts within. We have to look within our own self because sometimes we have some experiences in the past that can hinder us, and we'll come to conclusions and say, you know what? We start isolating ourselves and separating and being off on an island by ourselves because of lack of trust or disappointment that we had in the past. But we have to remember that we cannot do life alone. We need each other.
That's so true, Pastor Mary.
And so I just was thinking about how also with the a relationship. Sometimes we have some experiences. So, what are some of the experience? Have you have think of an experience that you had with the relationship that if you didn't look at it, or you may have went down a path of saying, you know what, I'm just going to back off and just be to myself, and I'm just not going to do this, because we say I don't do you, and all of this. But then you found out later that no, I need to change that, where you begin to value relationship and see that, hey, I'm not going to allow that past experience to hinder me from moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things I'm always really cognizant of is being pushed towards or pulling away from different people in your life based on the season you're in. And I
Mm.
think that's what defines the difference between a friendship and a sisterhood is I may not be in that woman's life for that season, but that doesn't mean that she's not my sister. And I
Yeah,
think you really have to honor where God is taking you. And sometimes, you may be like, oh, well, she's not talking to me right now. I'm not going to, what did
mm,
I do wrong? And you start to take it personally versus saying, God is pushing me towards certain people in this season. It might be pulling me towards other people because of what I need to be groomed and blossomed into because of that specific point in my life. And I believe that relationships are a mirror. And what I mean by that is our relationships help us to become closer to God and to be more Christ-like. And so that might mean that different relationships show up differently based on your own journey personally at times. And so I can think of one situation with a sister who I for whatever reason, a season of life, we just weren't on the same page. And I started to feel, a lot of different ways towards her. But then I realized, looking back on the situation, that it wasn't because um, there was a difference in our relationship, but more so there was a difference with me. And our eyes, right? We're flesh, like we're here, right? And so when you start to see things from a carnal perspective, and you start to think, well, like, what did I do wrong, or look at this, sometimes it's just a manifestation of the work that you need to do on you. And sometimes being in relationship, whether that's a sisterly relationship or a romantic relationship, a marital relationship, when they start to reflect things in your life that you're not ready to deal with, you can
Yes.
take it out on that person, instead of saying, wow, that person's really showing me that this is an area where I can grow. And I think, again, that's the difference between sisterhood and just a friendship, is our sisters might pull things out of us that we are maybe not ready to deal with, and that we don't just live for the moment, but we love them, and we start to learn about that unconditional love instead of conditions. Conditions are friendship, unconditional is sisterhood.
Yes, and sisters, that's such a great point. You realize in the season, and a lot of times too, is that we get stuck because the
Mhm.
relationship. We try to keep the relationship in the same place,
Ah,
but it doesn't stay there. And we have that initial experience, and we want to stay there. But we constantly emerging, and we're growing, and we're maturing. And initially, that you draw from each other what you need, and then sometimes when that need is filled, you're not in contact as much. I mean, there are sisters
absolutely.
that we may talk, 3 or 4 times a year, but when we do, it's like we never,
Mhm.
we never parted,
Yeah.
and we just continue where we left off. And so you have to also not put every sister in your life in the same place, in the same box, and they don't provide the same thing for you. And so it depends on, you have sisters that may just be there, in different types of support. And so it's so very important we begin to understand that. And we're so quick to cut off. And I like what you said, because sometimes a particular sister will cause us to face ourselves, and we don't want to face ourselves, because that's what a sister
Mhm.
do. That's someone that's able to tell you. It's like, who is it in your life that you have when you go off on the road, or
Mhm.
there's always someone in your life that were able to come to you and bring you back to yourself, and so sometimes we don't want to face ourselves. Sometimes it's very
Mhm.
difficult and very hard, and a lot of times we always point the finger or blame others, and so we have to begin to take ownership and responsibility, and realize,
Absolutely.
I'm not always there. Sometimes I say things I shouldn't, do things that I shouldn't, or what have you. But then there are sisters that can say to you, "Hey, Mary, that wasn't right. That wasn't, they can call you out on it. You know what I mean?" And so
Yeah.
you might get mad, but they're telling the truth. And so just to be able, and that doesn't mean that sister is hating on you. So a lot
Mhm.
of times when sisters calls that help us to face ourselves, they hating on us, or they jealous of us, or they envy of us. And that is not always the case. And so here at BWN, that's what we want to incorporate and build a sisterhood that is a safe place, that's authentic and genuine and honest. And we say that we're women of integrity, faith, and action, and that. And so we begin to do that. And so the only way that you begin to know each other is that you have to build those relationships, spend time together. And
Mhm.
we do that outside of our initial meetings, and you begin to find out so much more. A lot of times we're at these different platforms, and we have the elevated speech, and we just hear that aspect of that person. But you never know, there's more to that particular sister than you could ever
Mhm.
imagine. I mean, just initially meeting you, and and just how meeting you through Liz Everett, which she's
Yeah.
one of our guests, and such a great supporter and part of the
Mhm.
organization that has been connected me with so many amazing women as yourself. And so you just connected. And so a lot of times too, another thing that I realized, that sometimes divine connections doesn't always appear to be divine. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You have to know that that is a great connection. And the thing about it is that I just love God, how he knows what we need and who we need. And from the surface, you don't think, you're not even thinking, but as you begin to, there's more to Aishah than meets the eye. And so as we begin to build that relationship, it's like, oh, I see why I needed her in my life, and vice versa. So you just
Yeah.
look from the surface, but I think about building a sisterhood. You have to start with that foundation, and in that foundation, that's where all that support is. You because you're building something else upon that, and so that support has to be secure, and so like we're
Mhm.
building our business and we're building our life and you building an organization. The support is so essential. Like you building a house, you have to have that foundation that's secure, to be able to what uphold that what you putting upon it. You know what I'm saying? And so you
Mhm.
just don't stay right there at the foundation. And so there are some sisters that are in your life, they're part of that foundation. Cause everything that you build upon that to be so secure and everything like that. And so we have to begin to realize that we need each other. We can't do this alone. And so a lot of times we say, oh, Pastor Mary, oh, you're so awesome. This is doing, but they don't understand the support system that I have. How do you do it all? I don't. You have to have a support system, right?
That's so true. And I think it's so wonderful, though, to know that, for a long time, right, we were teaching women that you had to have this superwoman cape on and be all of these things to everybody and do it, with a smile on your face with no support. And I think I always appreciate your leadership in sharing that, like, I don't have to know all the answers. I don't have to have all the tools
Right.
because every joint supplieth.
Yes.
And being able to acknowledge that. But meeting you 2 years ago, I mean, I could never dreamed we would be here right now. I remember sitting down on the back row of the Transform conference in the church. And, just you say, tell me more about you. You're just like, getting to know me. And honestly, I think about those situations where God has just brought women into my life, and I have no idea how much that relationship is going to bless me. And you have been such a tremendous help to me, and love and support, and just, I mean, you're my pastor, but just like my mentor and friend. And I just couldn't imagine not having you in my life, especially in the particular season I'm in right now. And so
Yes.
I
Yes.
think 2 years ago, God was planning that. And I'll tell you, even I have a testimony. I met a woman at an incredible woman at a pageant 3 years ago, and we
Mhm.
had stayed in touch. And her daughter was so nice to my daughter, and she was the only one who really talked to me. And come to find out, when I needed a place to live quickly, she was the one who allowed me to find a. She found a house for me to live in for my kids. That was a 3 years ago relationship that God planted. And I just, I look around at those types of relationships and say, God, you have blessed me so much with women in my life who have just been such a blessing to me. And not, just being open to
Yes.
relationships with no expectation other than to say, God, what do you want to make of this? And I think that's really
Right.
important. Nobody
Right.
can be everything to you. It's, people can't be your happiness, but
Yeah.
you got to ask God, hey, God, what do you want to do with this relationship? I'm going to be open to it.
Yeah.
You brought the person to me.
And sometimes initially you don't know, but as you begin to build that relationship, uh, you begin it began to unveil itself, it began to reveal itself, you begin to see why. And sometimes we think, okay, maybe I don't need this person right now. You don't even think, why this person in my life. And then later on you start going through some things, or certain things happen, or whatever, a need arises later on, and then you say, oh, that's why. God
Mhm.
already sent me the answer. He already sent me what I need, who I need, prior to
Absolutely.
this situation, prior to this place in my life. And so it is so important. And, not only that, you saying, I've been such a blessing to you, but you've been such a blessing to me. I mean, to us, you know. And so just the your knowledge, your input, your wisdom. And so, when you talk about support, you're talking about help, you're talking about to assist, to aid, be on the side of, to, favor, encourage, ally oneself, stand behind,
Yeah.
fall in with, stand up for, defend, takes one's part. The list go on and on. And so, we have support publicly and privately, and so
Absolutely.
we value both. And like foundation, you don't see it, but it's they're the one upholding everything. And it just like we're saying there, motivation, inspiration, and sisterhood is pillars that's within our foundation to motivate, to inspire. And all the ladies, and we want to talk to our ladies, our women out there, that wherever you are, maybe you have lost your job, you lost family and loved ones, and you lost, it's just a tremendous, you're just feeling lost, but you're not a loser, okay? And so we plan, and we have these business plans, and we plan our life, but a lot of times we don't plan days like this. How did we know? We didn't know a pandemic was going to happen. We didn't know all these different things that's happening in our life right now. But the thing about it is God knew. God knew. So wherever you are, it's not over, right? It is not over. And we want to encourage you. This is not the time to isolate. This is not the time to separate. This is the time to join forces, to come together. And yes, sometimes you have to get away and just get your thoughts together and just begin to think things through. We understand that sometimes you need that private space. Sometimes you need to be alone, but you cannot stay there, right? And so it is not over. It is not the end, right? And so anytime you're at the end, you feel like you may be starting over, but you're not starting over from the beginning. You're starting over on a whole new level, another dimension. And so there are so many different opportunities that are open for you even now. And I tell you, there's times where I've gotten stuck, but when I connected with my sister, or a sister said, let's have lunch, or let's, set up a call, and just talking to that sister, or that sister talking to me, it just begins to do something in me. And it just make me think about the experience with Mary and Elizabeth. It's very essential and important of who you're connected to. Just can't be connected to any and everybody, And so sometimes you're in a place where you're very vulnerable. And so you have to understand that even in that state, you need to be around a great support system. And I just appreciate that what BWIN offers, that sisterhood, that you can come. It's a safe place and a safe environment that where you can open up and you can share, and that and feel that you're women that there that care for you. So we just so thankful, Aishah, and I'm just so thankful for this time that we shared together. But I want to get into, because Saturday is the first day of spring, right? And we are spring forward. The time have changed, right? We had the time change, right? Sunday at 2 a.m. And this Saturday is the first day of spring, and so we are springing forward. Everything moving forward, and so we're not stopping, but we're moving forward. And so just tell us a little about what is going to happen on Saturday morning.
Yeah. Well, I am really, really excited. We have a special guest, one of the most dear women in my life, Dr. Jillian Gavin. She has an incredible background, and she is one of the women that has taught me about just true sisterhood, and just about loving on people, and about trusting God. And, I think something that you said, Pastor Mary, that's very aligned with what we're going to do on Saturday with her is, even though you might be in a season where there's unknowns, or you might feel lost, you could feel alone, you could feel like, okay, yeah, it's spring and I'm not sure what's going to happen next. What is true, though, is that no matter what season you're in, God is preparing you for something. And it
Yes.
does matter what we're doing in our season of preparation. And so I'm excited for Dr. Gavin who's executive director of the Furious Flower Poetry Center in at James Madison University, and a published poet and author. And for you, Pastor Marion, for us to talk through a little bit about the doors of opportunity are open. Are you ready? Because
Yes.
being ready matters. And what, I know many people are familiar with the concept of like, it matters what you're doing where you're waiting. But I think what's important about the season of preparation that we don't talk about is a lot of times when people are saying that, they're talking about internally, are you getting ready? We aren't always talking about who are you surrounding yourself with. And so I
Yes.
am excited about Saturday, where we're going to talk. Please join us Saturday, March 20th, from 11 to 12:30. We are going to be talking about is sisterhood, and we're going to be talking about how we are preparing and what we are doing, and how you've learned some things over the years about preparation. And I just think it's so important to have these conversations. It's these
Yes.
moments of it's a sister chat, and so we'll have the opportunity. I'll be asking some questions, but also we want you to ask questions, and so we want you to know. I think what Pastor Mary said about a safe space, I think what's so important is that in order to create that, it takes participation. And so participation is better than observations. One of my old pastors used to say that all the time. And I think that's true. I think that it's so incredible that through Be Win, we have the opportunity to connect women in our lives that have made a big impact. And so you've seen Liz Everett join us. Lena Wilson has joined us. We have Dr. Joanne Gavin joining us. And these are all women who have had an impact on us too. And we want to keep bringing in women to Be Win. And we want to share your story. We want to create a space for you to share, because through stories, we build sisterhood. Through stories, we build encouragement. We inspire one another. And also we can support one another. And support looks different to every single person. But if you're sitting at home right now and you're saying, well, I don't know any of these people, I'm not connected to the right people, you know what? You can choose to show
Yes.
up. And it is
Yes.
going to be live streamed from our Facebook page. And so it is a free event, and an event you can only walk away with more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and more connections. And so we hope that you will join us on Saturday, again at 11 a.m. on the Be Win Facebook page. We'll be having this incredible sisterhood chat with Pastor Mary Pitts and Dr. Joanne Gavin. And so we hope you will join us. And also, if you know anyone that would really benefit from just being a part of a conversation like this, please grab a cup of coffee or tea. That's the beauty of these virtual events. Is I'm in New Jersey, you're in Orlando, and Dr. Gavin is in Virginia. But we can come together and we can
Yes.
now share. We can be
Right.
connected.
Right. I
So
am so excited. I am so excited and looking forward to it. And I tell you, you ladies have just been all the different women that we've been bringing together, and it's just been so awesome and so amazing. And so we are looking forward to you all sharing this space with us on Saturday, March 20th at 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We are excited about our guests and just looking forward to just dive in, because doors of opportunities are open. And we want to be ready. We want to be ready mentally, physically, spiritually, in every aspect of our life, to be prepared for it. So a lot of times we're praying for things and wanting God to do certain things in our life. And when it happens, we're like, oh my God, what did I do? And so you're going to have to walk through those doors, right? And so we're going to prepare you to do just that. But anyway, our time is up, and I have really enjoyed this time with you, Aishah. Winning Wednesday, and this has been such a tremendous blessing, and just really drawing from one another. And so to our audience, we just bless God for you sharing this space with us today. And remember, make sure you tune in on Wednesdays for Winning Wednesday. And so remember, Saturday, March 20th. Do not miss it. Save the date, March 20th at 11 a.m. All right. So God bless you. And we thank you again for joining us tonight. Thank you so much, Aishah. Love you. Appreciate you.
love you too.
And, like the stamp told the envelope, if we stick together, we'll go places. That's sisterhood, right?
Yes.
Right. All right. So you all have a blessed night.
Bye.
Bye.